Well, good morning. It's Mike and Lisa here on the morning drive, the holiday edition, taking a chance to check in with some of our regular guests, experts in different fields, and picking their brain about 2022 and looking ahead to the next year. One of those experts is Dan Gemus, CEO of the Dan Gemus Realty team, heard regularly on AM 800. And Dan, always great to talk to you. We go way back. Do you make it known on your show that you started out in radio on AM 800?
Oh, I do, Lisa. And that was 20 years ago. Going back to
Wow.
2001, 21 years ago. It's just crazy how time has flown by for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy how far you've come, Dan, from working at the radio station. We got to know you there, and producing the various programs to now being like the real estate mogul of Windsor, Essex. I see your face everywhere. I see it online. I see it on billboards. I hear your voice on AM 800. Like it's just amazing how you got into this business and became one of the top real estate agents and companies in this area in a very quick. To me, it feels very quickly that you were able to do this. I'm sure to you, it's like it took forever and it was a lot of hard work.
It's one of those things where it was a very, very busy first few years. I would say I was probably working, honestly, Mike, 80 to 100 hours a week, nonstop, from 7 a.m. to midnight, 1 a.m. every single morning, 7 days a week. I missed the first few years of my oldest son's life, which is a big reason why we started the team in 2013. It's a very crazy career, and people don't often realize what's involved. And you're working 24/7. You're there evenings and weekends and holidays. There's no time off, and so you have to be willing to put in the work and be available for your clients, because if not, they'll go somewhere else. And so going back, when I first started in real estate in 2009, Mike, and Lisa, really both of you. Now, Mike, if I go back to when I first started, I think you were doing Saturday mornings.
Yeah, live and local. I was the host.
Yes, you're doing live and local. And then Cam and Lisa were still on. I'll never forget being able to produce the first morning show with Cam and Lisa. I was so excited, and it was nerve-wracking, and going back to those. But anyways, back to everything else. But ultimately, yeah, it's just a matter of being available. And I was lucky where my first year in the business, a lot of my coworkers and our coworkers in the building were buying and selling. So I was able to kind of get a boost from that. But I left radio 4 months in, which I thought I would do both full time, do radio full time and do real estate part time. And after my first few months, I quickly realized it was not possible to give the attention you need to your clients. You have to be all in.
Yeah, there are a lot, and you mentioned this, Dan, a lot of real estate agents in the area in Windsor, Essex. And I would imagine, not, as you mentioned, not a lot of people know, maybe from the get-go, what's involved in becoming successful.
Yeah.
And even though there are so many real estate agents in this area, it seems only a few really kind of rise to the top, and maybe it is that connection you talk about, and knowing that the secret of connecting with your clients in a way that makes them feel comfortable. Is success dependent on, like, how much of it is word of mouth, where you help one particular person or couple or family, and then they have a good experience with you, and then pass that message along? And how much is getting your name out everywhere through advertising?
I think so. Early on, in the early days, getting the name out as much as possible was important. It still is today. But I will tell you that, at least to answer your question, about 60 to 70% of our business every year is repeat and referral business. And so making sure your clients are happy with your service is extremely, extremely important, or else it'll ruin. And this is any business, really, whether you're a dentist or a gift shop or whatever it is. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that your clients are happy and they're referring people to come out. It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially in a town like this, we're talking with Dan Gemus from the Dan Gemus Real Estate team. I would think, especially in a place like Windsor, Essex, where everybody knows everybody that knows the next person, right? Like it doesn't take long if you start getting a bad reputation for that to get around. Or in your case, it sounds like if you do a good job and provide a great service for somebody and a great experience, that gets around too.
And everyone knows a realtor, right? Really, everyone's friends with someone or an acquaintance, or someone's brother is someone's, is a realtor. And so if I look back to, in the earlier days, well, going back just a few years, 3, 4, 5 years ago, there was 900 to 1,000 realtors in Windsor, Essex. Since the pandemic, we're almost at 1,600 realtors in Windsor, Essex. And going back to your earlier comment, Lisa, like in any business, there's 5% of that number that really perform, that really, sell the majority of real estate. And I can count on, maybe a few hands how often we come across the regular realtors in the business. And so the majority are part-time, and it's definitely important to have a full-time realtor or real estate team when you're looking. Your house is your biggest investment, right? And for the most part. And so you want to make sure you have that person looking after your best interests.
Dan Gemus joining us from the Dan Gemus Real Estate team here on AM 800. Mike and Lisa here with you. Hope you're having a great holiday so far. Okay, so, prices have come down, and the prices have come down quite a bit in the last little while. Where are we looking for in 2023? Are we going to see that trend continue?
That's the magic question. That's what everyone wants to know, right? Well, let me zoom out a little bit. So we hit our peak here in Windsor, Essex in March, and our average price in March was just over $700,000, which is incredible.
Was that the peak of all time or just for the year?
Of all time.
Okay.
Of all time. So we had $700,453,000 in March. Wow. Now, if I look at the month before in February, it was 677. So it took a big jump there, and then it started working its way back down. Now, if I go back to November, we ended up at $622,000. So it's been coming down steadily, but it rose from 636 in January to 700. So it was literally, it took a big giant jump up in just 2 months. Now, if I go back to this time last year, there was a massive report that came out that called for our average price here in Windsor, Essex to end the year, so basically end this month, at $591,000. We're currently at 622 last month. If I had to guess, we're going to be about 610 by the end of this month for the year. So we're pretty much where they were anticipating, about $20,000 more than they were anticipating at this point last year. Now, what are they calling for next year? It's the big question. So what's a report just came out just a couple of weeks ago that basically called for the continuation of the decreases, very minor decreases for the first half of 23. But then by the latter half of next year, we're going to start seeing some increasing again, and we're going to finish the year off with a 3% increase. So again, it'll be a pretty even mark, but it really shows you, like I've been saying on my show for the last year, 2 years, that our prices are never going back to where they were. We have to really be cognizant of that and mindful that, yes, the prices have been coming down, but they peaked, in February. And in December of last year, the average price was $550,000. So let's just remember, in the bigger picture here, is it difficult for buyers and sellers right now? Yes, it is. It's getting much easier for buyers than it was a few months ago. Finally, they can get into a house, which is great news, but they're having to pay more for it. And so our affordability that's the biggest question, right? The biggest concern for everyone right now is housing affordability. And is it getting easier? Well, not really. Is it going to get easier? I don't know. Rental prices are still going up. Right now, to look for an affordable house, you're in the $400,000 range. That's not affordable.
Yeah. So and I think we've asked you this many times, so I'm going to ask it again. First-time home buyers, how do they save? How do they get into the market? if they want to. I mean, a lot of people will just resolve themselves to renting, but
Yeah.
if you do want to buy a house, how much do you need for a down payment these days if you're a first time home buyer, and how do you get around are there any loopholes?
Well, so a lot of questions there, at least, but I would, so 5% minimum, right? Is what you would need. And that's an insured mortgage. So you have to avoid the costs of the insured mortgage, you have to be 20%. Now,
20.
yeah, 20% to avoid those costs. But the average first-time home buyer is not getting 20% down, especially not today. So they're 5% minimum. And again, on that starter home, that's $350,000, $400,000. That's $20,000 you got to save. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so what we're seeing, Lisa, is basically a lot of people getting creative, and they're buying property with family or with friends, and they're teaming up and doing it together. So whether it's a duplex or a triplex, or they're just basically sharing a house. And so we're seeing a lot of that. And this is things that the larger markets have been seeing for years, for 10, 15, 20 years. So it's not, it's nothing that's new. We just haven't seen it here in Windsor, Essex. It's a new reality for us here. And basically what we're seeing now is Windsor, Essex catching up to the country's average price, which we were always much, much lower. But now Windsor, Essex is finally caught up to the average price countrywide.
Interesting. Dan Gemus from the Dan Gemus Real Estate team joining us here on AM 800. Mike and Lisa with you. And, one of the things we talked about last week, Dan, was the fact that a lot of kids are either moving back home, they're staying home longer, and maybe because they can't afford rent, they can't afford, obviously, to buy a place. And, I was wondering about, the fact that you mentioned that trend where people are getting together to buy a duplex, or maybe a whole family is living, from grandma to grandkids are living in the same home. I would guess we are seeing that now. And, is that a change that we're going to see in neighborhoods, in the construction industry, that we're going to see more of those type homes built?
100%. We have to, right? Because how else do people do it? And so you have a lot of the grown adult children that are basically moving their parents back in, right? Because not only is it expensive to purchase new property right now or to rent, but the cost of retirement living is also going up. The cost of everything's going up, right? And so you're finding people getting creative. And so we're seeing a lot of folks renovating basements to make additional apartments, in-law suites, which we're going to continue to see. And so, yeah, that's a trend it's not going anywhere. And like you said, Mike, we've been seeing this in Europe and other cultures for a very long time. So we're going to have to just start adapting. It's all we can do. Now, let's assume that our average price continues to grow by 3 to 5% a year. It's going to get up there, and really our wages aren't increasing fast enough to make up the difference. So that's the only way to do it, is just to get creative and have some shared living spaces.
Can I build like a little apartment or mother-in-law suite on a property?
So
is that allowed, or it depends where you are?
Depends where you are. You'd have to check on zoning. Now, a lot of the municipalities, especially here in Windsor, Essex, are becoming very friendly to the idea of the additional dwelling units, of renovating basements. Everyone knows, right? From the city of Windsor to all the county townships, they all understand the importance for their residents of affordable living. And so they're all making it very, very easy. Now, I would like to see, some waiving of some fees moving forward as we kind of get a bit deeper into it, right? Now, let's remember that I know the governments, whether it's provincial or federal, they're all pushing for more affordable housing, more affordable housing. Well, no offense to anybody, but they can't build them fast enough. If you look at our immigration numbers continuing to grow over the years, we can't build fast enough to keep up with demand. And so no matter how much money they throw at it, it's going to be difficult. I don't see it easing up anytime soon.
So where will everybody live?
Well, with us, I guess. We're moving in, Lise. So
make room. Push over, Lise.
Renting a room. I mean, maybe it's what they do in big cities, right? So,
well, and if you take a look at it, the average rental right now, go back 5, 6, 7 years, you could get a 1-bedroom apartment for $600. Now you're looking at $1,100-$1,200. a 2-bedroom apartment, $1,500. It's gone crazy. So where are those, minimum wage workers supposed to go? What are they supposed to do? If you have young kids, costs of groceries are going up, cost of gas is crazy. And so you really have to budget carefully and figure out where to spend your dollars.
Are you allowed to live at your business? Like you're obviously a business owner. You have an office. You own half of Amherstburg now. Like could you live upstairs of your popcorn place?
Do you see my cot behind me? I know we're on. I don't know. There's times where Nikki throws me here, but no, there'd be some zoning issues there. You'd have to basically be careful with living in living in your workplaces.
Yeah, so things have changed for you, right, Dan? I mean, you've got your real estate business, but you dabble in other things as well. So what has changed for you recently?
Well, we have the popcorn shop. So this past year, just a couple of months ago, actually, Nikki and I launched the Richmond Popcorn Company. And so that's been a very exciting, that's more of a passion project for us. We were trying to find ways to give back to the community. And there's so many great things happening in downtown Amherstburg.
Yeah.
We're working closely with a lot of business owners here, the Richard and Colleen Petty, good friends of ours. And they've got the bookstore next door and the candy store, Evelyn's and Whitewoods, and a lot of projects that are really working towards the betterment of downtown Amherstburg. And so
I love downtown. There's a
Yeah.
charm to downtown Amherstburg and Navy Yard Park that that really is something people should experience.
all the festivals going on, right? There's just, and
Yeah.
lots of great restaurants. And so there's so many great things. So for us, it was just, how do we basically help better the community and add to it? And so the popcorn shop was an idea that I had forever ago. And Nick, Nikki, you guys know Nick by now. She rolls her eyes thinking, oh, what next? And and so I finally sold her on the idea, and it's been a great first couple of months. The community has been so supportive. And for us, it was a matter of a business that we could get involved with the community and fundraising and basically give back, right? So it's been a great start to that business, and so it's been keeping us busy.
Well,
Good.
and who doesn't like popcorn?
Exactly, it's been lots of fun, and if you haven't tried the Oreo yet, give it a shot. There's so many great flavors.
Oreo popcorn.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, I'll drive out to Gemusburg and give a try at the Richmond Popcorn store there in beautiful Amherstburg. And you sold your home improvement store, Doobies, a little while ago before you kind of coincided with opening the popcorn place.
Yes. Yeah. We sold Doobies a few months ago. We still own the building, but we sold the business. Nick and I are at the point now where we've had our focus in many places. Real estate's always been our number one. And I want to kind of refocus our attention there. And Nikki wants to refocus her attention basically on the popcorn shop and on the family and family life a little bit. We've lived a very, very busy life for 15 years now. And we're just trying to kind of refocus our attention and do a bit more community-minded work.
It's so important. So important.
Yeah.
Well,
Which you do
congratulations.
and have done, like from
Yeah.
the beginning of this real estate venture that you went in, and we want to thank you too. You guys came out and volunteered and donated for our Cans for a Cause broadcast a few weeks ago at Devonshire Mall for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and it was great to see your team out there and how you do stay involved and get involved and do give back. It's a big part, right? You've been very successful and you've done well, and part of that is giving back and thanking the community that support you.
Yeah, honestly, everyone's been so amazing. Everyone throughout Windsor, Essex. I want to thank everybody for the help, and to both of you, Mike and Lisa, and to Dan and Patty and Kat, the whole crew over at AM800. You guys have all been so supportive of everything that we do, and I can't thank you all enough for that.
Well, thanks, Dan. And we'll be listening to you on AM800, the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.
Yeah, are
And
you on hiatus until after the holidays?
We're back on January 7th. Yes.
Great.
So we always take a few weeks off during the holidays and enjoy some family time. And this year, some popcorn popping time. So back to
Try the Oreo.
Try the Oreo.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys.
Dan Gemus, CEO of the Dan Gemus Realty team.